I installed a security camera to catch package thieves. Instead, I caught my wife letting the delivery driver into our house every single day I was at work. And that was just the beginning of the nightmare. Let me start from the beginning, because you need to understand how perfect everything seemed before it all came crashing down. You need to understand what I thought I had so you can understand what I lost. My name is Marcus, and this is the story of how I discovered my pregnant wife was carrying another man's child. I met Lisa 6 years ago at a corporate event. I was working in finance, climbing the ladder at an investment firm downtown. She was there with friends, and when our eyes met across that crowded room, I felt something I'd never felt before. She was beautiful, long dark hair, bright smile, the kind of laugh that made everyone around her want to laugh too. Our first date was at a rooftop restaurant. She told me about her dreams of being an interior designer, showed me pictures of rooms she'd redesigned for friends. I told her about my goals, about wanting to make partner at the firm before I turned 35, about the life I wanted to build. I want the whole thing. I remember telling her the house, the family, the white picket fence. Maybe that's old-fashioned, but it's what I want. She'd smiled at me, reached across the table to take my hand. That's not old-fashioned. That's beautiful. That's exactly what I want to. We got married 2 years later. It was a small ceremony, just close friends and family. Lisa looked absolutely stunning in her dress. When she walked down the aisle, I remember thinking I was the luckiest man alive. We bought a house in the suburbs the year after we got married. 3 bedrooms, nice yard, good school district for the kids we planned to have. Lisa quit her job at the design firm to work freelance from home. This way, I can build my own client base, she'd said. And when we have kids, I'll already be working from home. It's perfect. It seemed perfect. Everything seemed perfect. The first 3 years of our marriage were everything I'd hoped for. I worked hard, putting in long hours at the firm. Lisa built her freelance business, redesigning homes for an increasingly impressive client list. We were both working toward our goals, building our future together. I'd leave for work around 7 a.m., sometimes earlier if I had an important meeting. Lisa would make me coffee, kiss me goodbye at the door. Have a great day, baby. I love you. Every single morning, without fail. I'd come home around 7 or 8 p.m. most nights, sometimes later. Lisa would have dinner ready, or we'd order takeout and watch TV together. Weekends were for us brunch, movies, working on the house, visiting friends, normal life, happy life. Or so I thought. About 8 months ago, Lisa started talking more seriously about having kids. We'd always planned on it, but she seemed ready to actually start trying. I'm 32, she said one night as we were getting ready for bed. My doctor says if we want multiple kids, we should probably start soon. I was ready to... I'd just made senior associate at the firm. We were financially stable. The house was perfect for a family. Let's do it, I told her. Let's start trying. She threw her arms around me, kissed me. Really? You mean it? I mean it. Let's make a baby. We started trying that night. And for the next 2 months, we tried regularly. Lisa tracked her cycle, took vitamins, did everything right. I was working hard to make partner, putting in even longer hours, but I made sure to be available when she said the timing was right. Then, 3 months ago, she told me the news. I came home from work on a Wednesday evening, exhausted from back-to-back meetings. I walked in the door and immediately knew something was different. The lights were dimmed, candles were lit, and there was music playing softly. Lisa appeared from the kitchen, wearing a beautiful dress, her makeup done. She was glowing. "What's all this?" I asked, smiling despite my exhaustion. "I have something to tell you." She was beaming, practically vibrating with excitement. My heart started racing. "Lisa, ... She pulled a small wrapped box from behind her back. "Open it." My hands were shaking as I unwrapped it. Inside was a baby onesie with Daddy's little miracle written on it. I looked up at her, tears already forming in my eyes. "You're pregnant?" She nodded, crying, too. "We're having a baby, Marcus. We're going to be parents." I pulled her into my arms, holding her tight. This was everything we'd wanted. Everything we'd planned for. Our family was starting. "I'm going to be a dad," I whispered into her hair. "You're going to be the best dad," she said back. That night was one of the happiest of my life. We called our families, told our closest friends. Everyone was thrilled for us. My mom cried on the phone. Lisa's parents started talking about converting their guest room into a nursery for visits. Everything was falling into place. Looking back now, I can see that was when things really started to change. But at the time, I thought all the changes were just because of the pregnancy. Lisa's behavior shifted almost immediately after the announcement. At first, I attributed it to pregnancy hormones and morning sickness. She was tired all the time, she said. She didn't feel well. She needed to rest. I understood, or I thought I did. I picked up extra work to make sure we'd be financially comfortable for the baby. I started working even longer hours, taking on bigger projects. I wanted to make partner before the baby came to secure our future. I'd leave earlier in the morning, sometimes 6 a.m. I'd come home later, sometimes 9 or 10 p.m. Lisa would be on the couch, looking tired but freshly showered, hair done, wearing nice clothes. "You look great," I'd tell her. "Pregnancy agrees with you," she'd smile. I try to make an effort. Don't want to let myself go just because I'm pregnant. The delivery orders increased dramatically. We'd always ordered food occasionally, but suddenly there were deliveries almost every day. Lunch, usually, sometimes multiple times a day. I've been craving everything, she'd explain when I mentioned the credit card charges. "And I'm too tired to cook. Is that okay?" "Of course it's okay," I'd assure her. "Whatever you need. You're growing our baby. Our intimate life disappeared almost completely. I'm just so tired," she'd say. "And I'm not feeling attractive right now. Can we wait until I'm feeling better?" I didn't push. I'd read that pregnancy could affect a woman's libido. I wanted her to be comfortable. But there were other things, small things that didn't quite add up. The house was always immaculate when I got home, like she'd just finished cleaning. "Nesting instinct," she said when I commented on it. I read it's normal. She was always showered and dressed nicely, even though she was working from home. "I just feel better when I make an effort," she explained. She started insisting I text her before I left work, "so I know when to expect you," she said. "I worry when you're late and I don't hear from you. And the deliveries, God, the deliveries." I started noticing we had the same delivery driver a lot. Young guy, maybe mid. I'd see him occasionally when I happened to be home during the day or working from home. "Oh, that's Miguel," Lisa mentioned once. "He's our regular driver. Super nice guy. Always on time." I didn't think much of it. Why would I? He was just a delivery driver doing his job. 2 months ago, we had an issue with package theft in our neighborhood. Someone was stealing packages from front porches. Our neighbors had lost several deliveries, and I'd read about it in our neighborhood Facebook group. "We should get a doorbell camera," I told Lisa one evening. "For security, especially with the baby coming. I want to make sure our home is safe." She seemed hesitant. "Is that really necessary? It seems like an invasion of privacy." "It's just the front door," I said, "and it'll help us catch whoever's stealing packages. Plus, we can see who's coming to the door when we're not home." She finally agreed, though she didn't seem happy about it. I installed it the next weekend, one of those video doorbells that sends alerts to your phone and records continuously. "There," I said, showing her the app. "Now we can see everything that happens at our front door." She gave a tight smile. "Great." I didn't look at the footage for the first week. There was no reason to. We hadn't had any stolen packages, and I was too busy with work to worry about checking video of our front porch. But then our neighbor mentioned seeing our regular delivery guy at our house a lot. "He's there almost every day," she said when I ran into her at the mailbox. "You guys must order a lot of stuff for the baby, huh?" "Yeah," I said, though something about her tone bothered me. "Lisa's been ordering things. He stays for a while sometimes," the neighbor continued. "I've noticed his van parked there for an hour or more. Must be delivering something heavy that needs assembly or something. An hour for a delivery." That night, after Lisa went to bed early, claiming she was exhausted, I opened the doorbell camera app. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I was just checking because the neighbor had made that weird comment, that there was nothing to worry about. I started scrolling through the footage from that day. At 9:15 a.m., about an hour after I had left for work, a delivery van pulled up. The driver got out Miguel, the guy I'd seen a few times. He carried a small package to the door. Lisa answered almost immediately. She was wearing a tight dress, her hair and makeup done. She smiled at him, said something I couldn't hear without sound. Then she stepped back and he came inside. He came inside, my heart started racing. Maybe he was delivering something heavy. Maybe it needed to be brought to a specific room. I fast-forwarded 10 minutes past. 20 minutos, 30 minutes. An hour. An hour and 15 minutes. Finally, he came back out. Lisa walked him to the door. They stood close. Too close. Then she reached up and kissed him. Not a friendly peck. A real kiss. His hand went to her waist, pulling her closer. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I scrolled back, checked the day before. Same thing. He arrived around 9:30 a.m., stayed for over an hour, left with a kiss. The day before that. Same. The day before that. Same. I went back weeks. Every single day I'd been at work, he came. Every single day, she'll let him inside. Every single day, he stayed for over an hour. Every single day, they kissed goodbye. My pregnant wife was having an affair with our delivery driver. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't. I was too shocked, too hurt, too confused. Instead, I started digging deeper. I checked our credit card statements. The delivery orders, they were almost all small, cheap items. Things that didn't need to be delivered at all. A single bottle of water, a paki afgham, a greeting card. She was ordering random, cheap things just to get him to come to the house. I checked her phone records. We were on a family plan, so I had access. Hundreds of texts to a number I didn't recognize. I called it from a work phone. Miguel answered. I hung up. I created a separate account for the doorbell camera and downloaded all the footage. Hours and hours of my wife letting this man into our house. Of them kissing at the door. Of him not leaving until right before I was due home. One video was particularly damning. It was from a day I'd worked from home, but had to run out for a last-minute meeting. I'd texted Lisa I'd be back in a few hours. 15 minutes after I left, Miguel's van pulled up. He came to the door. She let him in. She knew I'd be back soon, and she still couldn't help herself. I started paying attention to everything. The way she always showered before I got home. The way the bed always looked freshly made when I walked in the door. The way she'd always had dinner ready or ordered dinner to arrive right when I got home, probably to cover up any food smells from earlier. She'd been playing me for a fool for months. But the worst part, the part that made me physically ill, was the pregnancy. She was 3 months pregnant. They'd been having the affair for at least 2 months based on the camera footage, probably longer, which meant ... oh God, the baby might not be mine. I took a day off work without telling Lisa. I told her I was going in early for a big presentation. Instead, I parked down the street and watched her house on the doorbell camera app from my car. At 9:20 a.m., Miguel's van pulled up. He got out carrying nothing. No package, no delivery. He went straight to the door. Lisa answered in a silk robe, her hair D. She pulled him inside immediately. I watched for 15 minutes, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white. Then I drove home. I opened the front door quietly. I could hear voices from upstairs, laughter, other sounds that made me want to throw up. I climbed the stairs, each step feeling like I was walking to my own execution. Our bedroom door was open. They were in our bed. The bed I'd shared with my wife for 4 years. The bed where we'd supposedly conceived our baby. Get out, I said, my voice deadly calm. Lisa screamed, pulling the covers up. Miguel jumped out of bed, scrambling for his clothes. Marcus? Oh my God. This isn't... I can explain. I said, get out. I looked at Miguel. You have 30 seconds to get out of my house before I call the police. He grabbed his clothes and literally ran out of the room and down the stairs. I heard the front door slam. Lisa was crying, still in bed, holding the covers against her chest. Marcus, please, let me explain. How long? My voice was shaken now, the calm facade breaking. How long has this been going on? It's not what you think? How long? She flinched. For months, she whispered. For months. She'd been sleeping with him for 4 months, which meant ... the baby. I said, is it mine? She went pale. Of course it's yours. Marcus, don't be ridiculous. Don't lie to me. Not anymore. Is it mine? I don't know. Those 4 words destroyed me more than anything else. I don't know. She didn't know if the baby she was carrying was mine or her delivery driver's. Get out, I said quietly. Marcus, please, get out of my house. She got dressed, crying, trying to talk to me, trying to explain. I didn't listen. I couldn't. Every word she said was just another knife in my back. She finally left, going to her sister's place. She said, I didn't care where she went. I just needed her gone. I sat in our living room for hours, just staring at the wall. My whole life had been a lie. The perfect marriage, the happy wife, the excited father-to-be. All of it was fake. The next day, I called a lawyer. I filed for divorce immediately. The lawyer said that in our state, I would automatically be presumed to be the father of any child born during the marriage unless I challenged paternity. Challenge it, I told him. I want a paternity test. Lisa tried calling, texting, showing up at the house. I blocked her number. I changed the locks. I downloaded all the camera footage and gave it to my lawyer. This is pretty damning evidence, he said, reviewing the videos, especially with the timeline of the affair and the pregnancy. We can definitely use this. I want everything documented, I told him. Every lie, every betrayal, everything. I told my family. My mother cried. My father was furious, wanted to confront Lisa himself. I told him not to, that the lawyers would handle it. I told my boss I needed some time off. He was understanding, gave me 2 weeks to get my head straight. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them in our bed. Every time I thought about the baby, I felt sick. There was a chance, a very real chance, that I'd been preparing to be a father to another man's child. Lisa sent me a long email 3 days after I kicked her out. She said she was sorry, that she never meant to hurt me, that it just happened. She said Miguel was young and exciting and made her feel attractive during a time when she felt insecure about her changing body. She said she wanted to work on our marriage, that she'd end things with Miguel, that she wanted our family to stay together. She said the baby was probably mine. Probably. I didn't respond. A week later, my lawyer received papers from her lawyer. She wanted the house, spousal support, and child support for the baby. Even though she didn't know if it was my baby, she wanted me to support it financially. Absolutely not, I told my lawyer. I want that paternity test. We'll get it, he assured me. But it can't be done until after the baby is born. That's still 6 months away, 6 months of limbo, 6 months of not knowing, 6 months of watching my pregnant wife from afar, wondering whose child she was carrying. Through mutual friends, I heard bits and pieces about Lisa's life after I kicked her out. She was living with her sister. Miguel had broken things off with her when he found out about the confrontation. Apparently, he didn't sign up for all this drama. She'd lost several of her design clients when word got out about the affair. Apparently, cheating on your husband with a delivery driver while pregnant wasn't great for your professional reputation. She tried reaching out to me several times. Emails, letters left at the house, messages through friends, all basically saying the same thing. She was sorry. She made a mistake. She wanted to work things out. I never responded. My friends were incredible through all of this. They rallied around me, took me out, kept me busy. My work suffered a bit, but my boss was understanding. Take the time you need, he said. We've all been there in some way. Betrayal is betrayal. The hardest part was seeing Lisa around town. She was showing now, obviously pregnant. Every time I saw her, I wondered, is that my child or his? The not knowing was torture. I started going to therapy. My therapist helped me work through the anger, the betrayal, the grief, because it was grief. I was mourning the loss of my marriage, the loss of the future I thought I had, possibly the loss of the child I'd been so excited to meet. Whether or not the child is biologically yours, my therapist said, you've lost the experience of being a father in the way you imagined. That's a real loss, and you need to let yourself grieve it. She was right. Even if the baby turned out to be mine, everything was tainted now. I'd never get to experience the joy of my first child being born without this cloud of betrayal hanging over it. The months crawled by. The divorce proceedings moved forward. Lisa fought everything. She wanted the house, wanted support, wanted me to be involved with the baby, regardless of paternity. She can't have it both ways, my lawyer said. She can't claim you should be involved while refusing to confirm paternity until after birth. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Lisa went into labor. She had her sister text me. I didn't go to the hospital. I couldn't. Instead, I waited at home for the call that would change everything. The baby was born on a Tuesday evening. A boy, 7 pounds, 6 ounces, healthy. I received a text from Lisa's sister with a photo. He was beautiful. Tiny and perfect and beautiful. And I had no idea if he was mine. Per the court order we'd gotten, a paternity test was done at the hospital. The wait for results was supposed to be 3 to 5 days, but it felt like years. I couldn't focus on anything. Couldn't work, couldn't eat, couldn't function. My entire future hinged on those test results. If he was Minnie, what did that mean? Did I try to co-parent with a woman who'd betrayed me so completely? Did I try to be involved despite all the pain and anger? Could I look at this child and not think about how he came into the world if he wasn't mine? What did that mean? Did I just walk away from a baby I'd been preparing to love for months? Did I cut all ties and try to move on with my life? There was no good outcome. Both options were painful. The results came back on a Friday afternoon. My lawyer called me at work. Marcus, I have the paternity test results. My heart stopped, and the child is not yours. You are not the biological father. I don't remember what I said. I think I thanked him. I think I hung up. I know I sat at my desk for a long time, staring at nothing. Not mine. The baby wasn't mine. I felt ... relief, grief, both. Neither. I'd spent months preparing to be a father. I'd bought books. I'd started converting the spare room into a nursery before everything fell apart. I'd imagined teaching him to ride a bike, helping him with homework, watching him graduate. And he wasn't mine. He was Miguel's, the delivery driver who'd been sleeping with my wife, and my bed had given her the child I'd thought was going to be mine. I went home that night and cried, not quiet tears, big, ugly, sobbing cries, for the marriage I'd lost, for the future that never existed, for the child that wasn't mine, for the man I'd been who trusted so completely and was made such a fool. The divorce was finalized 2 months after the baby was born. I kept the house, no child support, obviously, since the child wasn't mine. Lisa got some of our savings, but that was it. I later found out that Miguel wanted nothing to do with the baby. Apparently, being a young guy having an exciting affair was one thing. Being a father was another. Lisa was on her own. Part of me felt bad for her. Part of me felt like she got exactly what she deserved. Mostly, I just felt empty. It's been 6 months since the divorce was finalized. I'm doing better now. The therapy helped. Time helped. Throwing myself into work helped. I made partner 3 months ago, which was bittersweet. I'd achieved the goal, but I was doing it alone. I started dating again recently. Nothing serious yet. It's hard to trust. Every time a delivery driver comes to my door, I feel anxious. Every time a woman tells me she loves me, I wonder if she means it or if she's just a good liar like Lisa was. But I'm trying, because the alternative is letting what Lisa did define the rest of my life, and I refuse to give her that power. I saw her once a few months ago at a grocery store. She was with the baby, with her son. He was bigger, starting to smile. She looked tired, stressed. She saw me and started to approach, but I turned and walked away. I have nothing to say to her. Sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I'd never installed that camera. If I'd just remained blissfully ignorant. If I'd raised Miguel's son thinking he was mine. But ignorance isn't bliss. It's just ... ignorance. I'm glad I know the truth, even though it destroyed everything. Because at least now I can build a new life based on reality, not lies. I'm not sure if I'll ever fully trust again. I'm not sure if I'll ever want to have children now, after all this. I'm not sure if I'll ever look at a delivery driver without feeling a spike of anxiety. But I'm alive. I'm moving forward. And someday, maybe I'll be able to look back on this as just a painful chapter in my life instead of the defining moment. If you were in my position and found out your pregnant spouse was having an affair, would you have waited for the paternity test results? Or would you have walked away immediately? How do you think you'd handle finding out the child wasn't yours? I'd really like to hear your thoughts in the comments.